Let's go. New York Knicks, playoff basketball. Billy P, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. The regular season, man, it's an obstacle course. I think Tom Thibodeau should be coach of the year, given all that's happened here with the Randall injury and Anunoby injury, and having to adjust to the trade, and figuring out that DiVincenzo is a better starter than Grimes, and McBride's a great piece off the bench, and Hartenstein can be a starting center. I mean, think of all the things that have happened here for the Knicks to get to 50 wins. Of course, now is what really matters, and I think both the Heat and or the Sixers are going to pose very significant challenges. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. That's for sure.
It is. That's why we do this. But yeah, clean slate. Playoffs begin. Regular season now. It's a thing of the past. But to close the season, I think it's important, Bill, that they finish with good momentum. You know, they tried to win the final game, 5 games, five wins in a row. Brunson playing like the MVP. I hope you vote or you get a vote. But what do you see from the end of the season?
Well, they played great. They went through that dip there where they lost to OKC and the Spurs, uh, and it was a stretch I think of 4 out of 5 losses. And then, as you mentioned, they haven't lost since. I just think that when Anunoby is in there, and he came back and now he's healthy, they're 20-3. Think about that. And it's Anunoby's intangible contributions that you don't always see in the box score. And he's going to be so important in the playoffs, whether they're playing Philadelphia or Miami. I mean, Anunoby on Butler could be one heck of a matchup. Maybe against Philly, he even tries his hand against Maxey or Embiid. So he's got that intangible ability. And since he's come back again, they think about this. Randall goes down here, and they've gone 21-15. He missed 36 games. Mitchell Robinson missed 51 games, and yet here they are. So they finished up well. Brunson, without Randall's, averaged over 31 a game. Um, this narrative that they need another superstar. I don't know that they need another superstar. They have a superstar, and if I'm the Knicks, regardless of what happens, I want to run it back next year. I want to re-sign Hartenstein. I want Randall back healthy, and I want to see what they got because when they were all together, they went 14-2 in January. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, deserving of the second seed. You think without these injuries, 55 wins would have been possible, 50, 60 wins possibly as well. Yeah, all the credit in the world to the coach, the front office. A lot of accolades I think will go around, but the business end is here, right? There's no time to really reflect just yet because Brunson, he's getting a lot of accolades now in terms of the national media. First team All NBA. Do you think?
I think he deserves it. Look, I'm biased. We watch him every night. He's remarkable. He is remarkable, not only for what he does on the court, but his demeanor off the court. He's a great leader. He always says the right thing. He always is team first. They seem like they have a lot of chemistry and camaraderie with the guys he went to college with, Hart and DiVincenzo. It just seems like these Villanova guys, led by Brunson, have this great quality of being unselfish, being fiercely competitive. They play hard every single night, and they're a great bunch to watch. And I think a lot of it has to do with Brunson leading the way. His leadership off the court cannot be underestimated.
Yeah, that really came across this season as well as he matures in his career. But does he have a weakness, Bill? Because defense was once touted, but what's impressed me the most from Brunson is his defensive aptitude. You know, and I think that's going to be key.
Well, he does, as his mantra is, whatever it takes to win. And whatever it takes to win for the Knicks without Randall is Brunson's had to score. And what's amazing to all of us, night in and night out, is he can always get his shot off. He's mastered this footwork. He's incredible. He doesn't need much of a sliver to get his um, shot off. To me, he's been first team All NBA for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I think in the coach, you mentioned all the missing, the pieces missing through injuries, the new pieces that have come through as well, right? Is this the best job Coach Tibbs has done in your eyes? You know, throughout his career.
Well, I think he's a phenomenal coach. And the thing is, here's the one thing I would think about, and people just to think about. Tibbs has his guys play 110% every single night in the regular season. These other teams play 110% in the playoffs. So the Knicks often under Tibbs in the regular season out hustle and outwork the opposition, and they don't have that advantage in the playoffs because these teams that may not be at 100% in the regular season bring it in the playoffs. But Tibbs's genius to me is the way he prepares these guys, to how hard they play, and how well prepared they are on a night in and night out basis.
Yeah, well said. In terms of the key matchups, though, the Knicks have won the season series over the Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers, right? As we're recording this, the play in is tonight. Is there a particular matchup that you think is more favorable for the New York Knicks?
Well, I would say the Sixers scare me a little bit more. Miami scares me just because Spoelstra's a great coach. It seems like Butler turns it on. Last year against the Knicks, remember, they didn't have Tyler Hero. He's healthy. They don't have Max Strus anymore. They don't have Kyle Lowry anymore. He's on Philly. They have Terry Rozier, but right now he's out with a bad neck. So I would say, to me, Philly scares me more because Embiid and Maxey are two all-star elite scorers, and they have excellent wing play in Tobias Harris. DeAnthony Melton's an excellent piece. Kelly Oubre has fit in really well. Nicholas Batum can be a factor. I just think the Sixers, with the two All Stars, have more pieces than the Heat. And the thing about Embiid here is that he brings the big guys out. He's going to bring Hartenstein away from the basket. He's going to bring Mitch away from the basket. And that can cause problems to the Knicks on defense because, as we know, one of the staples of their defense is having either Hartenstein or Robinson protecting the rim, and Embiid pulls them out.
Yeah, you mentioned defense. I was going to go there next because that's my key to the Knicks' success, Bill. I don't think they'll have any issues scoring the ball, but defensively, it's the Knicks' calling card. The starting five without Julius Randle has been, defending at a very high level. Defensive rating is up there with the best in the league. Five guys that get after it are locked in, can rotate, can switch. OG Anunoby, of course, thrown in to the mix. What are your keys for the Knicks' success against these two teams?
Well, my concern is getting scoring from a second person other than Brunson. That's my number one concern. Who's it going to be? DiVincenzo can shoot, not always great at creating his own shot. Josh Hart's great in transition. Anunoby's more of someone that's going to rely on someone else getting double teamed, so he's open for a three. Who is going to be the second scorer when you consider that Brunson's going to get his 30? They're going to need someone else to contribute, and that's the one thing that I'm going to be looking at. I think the defense will be fine, be good enough, but will they score enough, especially in the playoffs? Because as we all know, the game changes in the playoffs.
It does, yeah. And Tibbs says, Bill, next man up, got to be ready. Brunson will get trapped. He will get blitzed. They'll take the ball out of his hands, especially in late game situations. It's key that the other guys either make the right pass, the right read, or attempt the shot and hit shots as well. Is that how you see it with Brunson, being the focal point of the scouting report?
Absolutely, and Brunson's done a great job in a regular season of reading the defense. If he's got an opportunity, he can convert. If he's blitzed or double teamed, he's done a great job at setting others up. The key is the others have to score, have to be able to convert. And so far, at least in the regular season, that worked. We'll see what happens here in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm expecting an eight-man rotation to begin with Precious maybe the ninth man, and Alec Burks obviously the 10th man if needed. Do you see an eight-man rotation and guys playing 40 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested. We know it's going to be Bogdanovich, McBride, and Mitchell Robinson off the bench, but how much will these guys play? Bogdanovich has really started to fit in off the bench here down the stretch of the regular season, pretty much in double figures over the last handful of games. And they're going to have that because when Brunson goes out of the game, you got to have Bogdanovich and McBride picking up some of the scoring slack. That's another thing that we all have to watch. I don't know that Brunson can handle playing 46, 47 minutes. Maybe Tibbs is going to play all of these guys 46, 47 minutes. DiVincenzo against the Bulls in the season finale played 52 minutes. So we'll see. How much will McBride play? He's not tested in the playoffs. Hopefully, Mitchell Robinson, who's kind of been banged up here a little bit coming off the ankle surgery, is 100%. I think that's another important factor. How much will the Knicks rely on their bench, and how important will it be if these starters have to play 45, 46 minutes?
Yeah, well, the schedule was just dropped, and there's a kind of decent rest, between games, and there's a 2 day rest as well. I think guys are ready to go. This is the time of year, Bill, where guys were ready, to play big minutes. But got to ask you, Bill, because you're in the building, right, for these games. I think the 16th man is the crowd, the MSG crowd. How much of an advantage is that going to give the Knicks as they host, game one and game two, and even in the second round too?
Well, it could be important. Against the Bulls, it was electric. You know, we're all starved for a playoff run. We all want to see them succeed so badly that there's all this pent up excitement. And when they get it rolling, MSG is a huge, huge factor. So I think having the first 2 rounds at home, potentially, hopefully, the second round as well, is a huge edge.
Yeah, most definitely. And around the East, right? Obviously, there's the Bucks and the Pacers that'll match up, and the Magic and the Cavs as well. What are you paying attention to out East?
I'm really down on the Cavs. They're very disappointing. I didn't like the way they handled the season finale, resting Mitchell and Garland and losing on their home court to the Hornets. That's unbelievable. Obviously, they felt, I think, that the fourth seed was more advantageous than moving up to get the Magic. So I hope the Magic win the series. Giannis is banged up for the Bucks. Some of our crew was very concerned about the Pacers for the Knicks because of the way that they score. They took 2 of 3 from the Knicks during the regular season. They have some guys, big wings, Nemhart, Neesmith, guys that can really fill it up and potentially give Brunson some problems. So, look, whether it's the Pacers in the first round or the Sixers and/or the Heat in the second round, however it was going to play out, you still got to beat these teams, and then you're probably going to have to get past Boston. So, uh, look, there's no way to call it. I'm optimistic that the Knicks can make a run here and win a couple of series and take on the Celtics in the conference finals. That's what we're all hoping for. I think it's a very realistic hope as well.
Yeah, 10 years since the 54 win season with Carmelo Anthony, Coach Woodson. And I think this is the time. The Knicks have got a lot of momentum on their side. But MSG, Bill, the best in the business. From myself, the viewers, the fans all over the world, we appreciate the coverage this season. It's been remarkable. And the best is yet to come as well. What have MSG got planned for these games?
So we have game 1, 2, and 3 on MSG. Game 4 is next weekend, and that will be an ABC exclusive. But even when we don't have the games, we will have a pre and post game show on MSG. So game 1 is at 6 o'clock Eastern time. We're on the air with an hour pregame for game 1 at 5. For every other game, we will have a half-hour pregame, and for every game, we'll have an hour postgame. So Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern is when we start with an hour-long pregame show. Knicks against the Heat or the Knicks against the 76ers.
Yeah, it's going to be buzzing, and I'm sure the group chat is starting to really pop now. What are the guys thinking in terms of X factors? And before we wrap up, what are your X factors in terms of some of the players?
Again, got to have a second option on offense. That's the most important thing to me. Who else is going to score? The effort's going to be there. The defense is going to be there. Who else is going to score besides Jalen Brunson? That's what I'm looking at.
Yep. Well, I'm excited, Bill. Game one, it's on its way this Saturday, and hopefully we talk soon.
All
Be
right.
well.
Great to see you. Thank you
Yep.
so much for having me.